prince rode into the kingdom the next day, accompanied by his trusted manservant and attendants. He was welcomed by the sound of trumpets and great pomp and ceremony. When the princesses spied him, they started to swoon at the sight of the dashing young man. His eyes were only for one princess, though, the princess he was expecting to marry. The celebrations began, and the prince and princess chatted together. "It is a very fine ballad you have composed," declared the princess. The prince looked modest. "I wrote this song after seeing your likeness. I so look forward to hearing you sing it." "Thank you," replied the princess, rather nervously, afraid the truth about her voice would be discovered and the handsome young prince would ride away on his horse, never to return. The time arrived for the princess to sing, and once again her sister slipped unnoticed behind the silken screen prepared by the magician. The princess held the music and opened her mouth, and while she appeared to sing, the audience were charmed by what they thought to be her enchanting voice. The song had hardly begun, when suddenly a very strange sound was heard. Achoo! Achoo! And the princess stopped singing. More strange sounds followed, which appeared to be coming from behind the screen. Achoo! Achoo! The prince, suspecting things were not quite what they seemed, approached the screen and moved it to one side, where he discovered the young princess hiding there, holding her nose. You see, the young princess's cold was starting to get worse, and try as she might, she had been unable to stop herself from sneezing. The audience gasped to see the trick that had been played on them, and the princess was horrified that her deception had been discovered. Through her tears, she confessed to the prince, "I'm so sorry, sir. I'm afraid I cannot sing, have never been able to sing, and unless a miracle happens, I never will be able to sing. It is my sister who has the beautiful voice. I realise our marriage can no longer take place. I do hope you'll forgive me for what I've done." The prince, who was at first silent, started to laugh. And indeed it looked like he would find it very hard to stop laughing. At first the princess was surprised by his reaction and felt somewhat humiliated. He then explained, "You are not the only one who has professed to have gifts that they do not have. I didn't write the ballad I gave you. I cannot write ballads. In fact, I cannot read or write a note of music." He pointed to his manservant. "This fine young man is the talented musician who writes them for me, and I pass them off as my own." "But why would you do such a thing?" asked the princess, pulling herself together. He then continued, "My father, the king, heard my manservant singing a pleasant ballad one day, and I pretended I had written it. I was never a great soldier or strong athlete, and he always seemed so disappointed in me. But from then on, he asked me to write a new ballad every time there was a special occasion. He would want one for his birthday, great anniversaries in the kingdom, or simply because he wanted to hear a new one. And I would claim to write them. It was my father's idea for you to sing this new ballad as part of the wedding agreement." "But won't your father be very angry that you have deceived him?" asked the princess. "Maybe for a little while. replied the prince. "But I cannot falsely claim to have these gifts any longer. I want you as my bride, and that is all that matters." The princess was very relieved. "Do you enjoy dancing?" continued the prince. "Do I enjoy dancing?" exclaimed the princess. "Dancing is my passion." "It's mine too," echoed the prince. The king was delighted that the wedding would still take place after hearing all of this, and although at first disappointed that his daughter couldn't sing, realised that, like all of his daughters, he really didn't want to change her anyway. Meanwhile, the magician was feeling very frightened over the trick he had played on the king, knowing he had committed a serious crime in trying to fool him, and not only would he have to return the golden chalice, but he would probably end up in a prison cell. The king summoned him for an explanation. "Your Majesty, I beg your forgiveness for my folly in trying to deceive you," he pleaded. "My greed got the better of me." The king quietly contemplated the situation. "If I punish you for trying to deceive me, I will also need to punish my daughters for doing the same thing." His youngest daughter interrupted. "And weren't you also guilty of deception, father, by trying to convince the prince our sister could sing like an angel using magic?" "You are right, my dear. If I punish you all, I will need to punish myself too. And indeed, who knows what the voice of an angel sounds like anyway? I must say, I have never heard one sing." They all admitted they had been guilty of deceiving each other, but when the truth was told, all turned out well in the end. The prince and princess promised never to tell a lie to each other again, and the whole gathering celebrated the joyous occasion. The king commanded the musicians to play, and the loving couple danced together, holding each other closely. Tomorrow would be their wedding day, and everyone agreed it would be a very happy marriage.